Hello everyone, Ren here, and today we are going to be talking about Shadowhunters, episode 2 of season 2. I've forgotten the name of the episode, I'll put it in the title. So this episode followed off from obviously episode 1, because that's how TV shows work. I will admit this episode left me a little bit confused because there were a couple of things in it which I didn't really understand. Valentine and Jace escaped through the portal in the last episode after Jocelyn tried to crossbow Jace, and they got away, and then it kicks off pretty much straight from there. Jace and Valentine's relationship is really good. That was a really big highlight of this episode for me, and like I said with episode 1, the way that Valentine is acting is fantastic. The way that Alan Van Sprang, that's his name, acts with Dominic Sherwood, their relationship is perfect. That's exactly Valentine and Jace, the way that he is with him, the things he's saying to him, the way he's really starting to make Jace question everything that's going on, and he's really messing with Jace's head, and the acting there is brilliant, and that's such a highlight of the show for me when I'm watching it. One thing that left me a little bit confused was when Valentine was talking about the Clave not doing anything with Downworlders, and then Jace had to kill that vampire even though she had surrendered to the Clave, because I don't think the Clave would take surrenders. They would have killed that vampire. Jace did the right thing by killing her because she hurt innocent mundanes, and that is their job, to protect mundanes, and I feel as though Jace actually did the proper right thing there. That's what Clave would have agreed on, and the Clave are constantly trying to take down these people. The Clave are really prejudiced against Downworlders, so they would not feel remorse for it. I really don't think they would, and I actually feel like the Clave is doing a lot more than Valentine keeps saying. And there's a scene between Clary and Jocelyn, and Clary and Jocelyn are having this massive argument because Jocelyn finally says that when Jocelyn was pregnant the first time, he was tested on and injected with demon blood, and then there's this weird flashback with a memory flashback rune, which was really confusing to me. I didn't get how that worked, but anyway, she's with the baby, she's with baby Jonathan, and she's in this garden, and the baby, who has got black eyes, like really distinctive black eyes, kills this flower, which is fine. Like, that should have been enough for Clary to then say, Jace doesn't look like that. Jace doesn't have those eyes. That's not what Jace is like. I mean, Jocelyn has seen pictures of Jace. She's seen what he looks like. He doesn't have the eyes. He does not have that thing. And I'm wondering if they think it's because the whole shapeshifting glamour thing, but he doesn't have those eyes. He doesn't look like that. And I'm wondering if when Sebastian comes into the show, he's gonna have those eyes, because he should, because he's got demon blood in him, and it's really obvious that Jace is not Jonathan, and it makes it really distinctive. Like, it's really confusing that they haven't noticed that. There's then a scene with Alec and Izzy and Clary, and Alec just is shouting and shouting at Clary about everything that's going on. He seems a lot more angry in the show because sort of the show is throwing everything he has to deal with throughout the course of 6 books on him all at once, and he's suddenly got everything to think about. But I really feel like the closeness of the Parabatai bond and how much Jace means to Alec is becoming really obvious in this season, and I really like that. And I feel as though they're keeping with how strong this Parabatai rune is. In season 1, there was lots of debate on if it could break and how weak it was, but also how strong it was, and it was confusing to me. So I really like that in this they're just maintaining that it's a really strong bond. A part of the other person will die if one dies, and I just like the fact that they're maintaining how strong it is. That's good. And the Izzy and Clary scenes were really, really good in this. I really liked that Izzy was supportive of Clary, and she was saying to her, like, don't listen to Alec, he's just really angry, and you know, he doesn't really mean what he's saying. And I feel as though their relationship is really getting stronger, and I'm really liking the fact that they're being so supportive of each other. Also, Lydia in this said something that I thought last episode. I don't remember if I said this in last week's review, but there's no way the Clave will stop Alec and Isabelle from fighting and searching for Jace, because they are like 2 of the best and strongest Shadowhunters that the New York Institute has. There is no way they would have let Aldertree put them on the sides, and the fact that Lydia said this in this episode, I said they're coming, they're helping, was really good, because they need to be there. They're basically like some of the only Shadowhunters in the Institute, and they are the best Shadowhunters in that Institute, and they need to be there fighting. I loved that Clary went back to her old life, and that she went back to the Institute of Art and was just drawing and just wanted to take that time to just feel normal again, because everything's just been thrown on its head. That scene was really nice between her, Jocelyn and Luke, and I feel as though Luke's really understanding. I'm really liking Sire's acting and the way that he seems to be really understanding Luke's relationship with Clary. I don't get the whole like random karate fighting bit, what's going on there, but it was funny when Isabelle just completely like kicked that guy's ass, and Alec was just laughing. I love him so much. I like the way that Izzy just completely owned that guy, but I still don't get the kind of fighting thing. I still don't really understand what they're trying to do with Valentine other than completely ruin Jace. So that was a little bit random. We also had Dot, and this was weird because the bits in this that really confused me were the memory runes, which were really odd, where you can show people your memory, and then also Clary thinking she was psychic and that she could see the future. They left me really confused. That's like not a thing. I was just like, why? This is ridiculous. Of course she cannot see the future. Even Jace is like, this is impossible. Raphael came back in this episode, and I love Raphael. I love him and Simon. They are good. They act brilliantly together. Simon in this was my favourite. He was actually like Alberto. He is Simon. All the scenes with him and Magnus, which I actually really liked. I liked that Magnus had his own little side story in this episode and that they were doing different things. It was really cool. Him and Magnus, their conversation was just back and forth. It was funny, it was witty, it was on point, it really worked. And Magnus basically adopted Simon. I liked the Bane Chronicles books and learning more about Magnus, so to have this different side story, and I know they're not allowed to use stuff from the Bane Chronicles anymore because she hasn't sold the rights to them, but it was nice for them to give Magnus like the little side stories because he is the High Warlock of Brooklyn. He would be doing his own things too. Like, it's nice to see that. We saw Jace and Alec when they were little, and we saw their Parabatite rune bonding and how they've grown up with each other and their whole experiences with each other to just sort of show how strong the Parabatite rune is. And Luke and his mother being the Iron Sisters, and that was a thing that happened, and I was just like, spoilers for later on. Another thing they've added in really early on, and something that I don't know if it's necessary that it needs to be added in so early. I really liked the soundtrack in this episode. I feel like it really worked with the scenes that it was used in. Sometimes it goes really loud and it kind of takes away from the scene, but I really liked it when Clary was in the Art Institute and when they were fighting and stuff. I feel like it really worked. And it ended with the Parabatite search thing going wrong and something really bad happening to Alec. He's not gonna die. We know he's not gonna die. Like if they actually kill off any of these characters in this show, I'm just gonna like throw Netflix out the window. But that ended on a pretty big cliffhanger. There was the Clary ends up being on the ship with Jace. They jump into the water. I am curious to see what's going to happen. Are they going to get off the ship? Is it going to happen that they actually are able to get away? Valentine is still there and he's still got loads of people on the ship with him and loads of people that can track them down, so I do kind of want to know what happens next with that and what's going to happen in the future things. I feel as though they're probably going to get Magnus in to come and help with Alec, because when do they not get Magnus in to help with Alec? I think I preferred episode 1 of season 2. I didn't absolutely hate this episode. There was just a couple of things that were really confusing to me, and I felt like the pace of this episode was just really quick. It was as though they were trying to sort of put loads of things together, which obviously is probably because of things that are being built up in the future episodes, but they need to just kind of be a bit slow, just kind of chill with it. This season has got way more episodes, so they don't need to rush as much, so I feel as though this episode was really fast paced, so I'm hoping that it does slow down a little bit. Other than that though, I did think it was good. I did enjoy it. I would love to know your thoughts on episode 2 of Shadowhunters, we can discuss down below. If you're new here, I make bookish videos a couple of times a week, so if you'd like to stick around and join us, then you can do that. And as usual, all of my links will be in the description below if you would like to come help me on other social media. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you're doing really well, and I will see you next time. Goodbye!